Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We reached 100 subscribers. I say we because you guys have done it for me. I am so grateful. I know I'm still a tiny channel, but that really does mean a lot to me that people actually find some kind of interest in what I ramble on about. So thank you. This video, we're looking at a camera, the Canomatic M70, slightly different because it's a film format that we haven't looked at before, 1:2:6 film. So let's waste no time. Before we go into the camera itself, 1:2:6 format is, as I said already, a format that I haven't shown you in any of my previous videos. So let's have a look at that first of all. Unfortunately, you can't buy it anymore. There are some on eBay that are sort of original copies, which are obviously going to be long expired, and more often than not they will work fine, and it's something that some people are quite into. But it can't be bought new anymore. Obviously been discontinued. However, the film inside the cartridge was very much the same as 35mm and whatever. So a couple of companies have actually started producing an adapter for them. So you can actually use 35mm and a couple of other formats in a 1:2:6 camera, which is quite nice. Now I was gifted both this camera and a couple of Kodak cameras that do take this film. So in a future video I'll perhaps go into a little more detail, but in the meantime let's take a look. So here we are. This is the Canomatic M70, called so because it came out in 1970 and it's made by Canon. It's an Instamatic camera, which is a term sort of coined by Kodak really for a range of cameras and films that they used. Kind of precursors to point and shoots. They were to try and make photography, bring it to the masses by making it a much more simple affair, and that's pretty much what this camera is all about. Keep things as simple as possible. Unfortunately, my version isn't in the greatest condition. You can probably spot a few rust marks, etc. It really does need a good clean, and I think what I'm going to do is make it into a bit of a project, take it apart and see if I can get it looking a lot nicer than it currently does. Because of that, I haven't actually put any batteries in this yet or any film, which I'll come back to shortly. But I'd like to sort of go through it with you anyway. So if we start up on top, we've got our shutter release button and our manual cable release next to it. And here we have a fitting for a cube flash. As you can probably tell, this isn't the normal hot shoe affair that I've shown you on the majority of the cameras that I've been featuring in my videos. This is for a cube flash, which if you're of a certain age you'll be very familiar with and hopefully have fond memories of, even though they were rubbish. But for those of you that don't know, let's have a look at a cube flash. So here is the technological wonder of a cube flash. As you can see, it's exactly what it says. It's a cube with 4 bulbs that are pretty much crammed with a filament, and so obviously once they were lit they would give off an extremely bright light, but only for a split second, and they would burn out, and that was that done. Then the bulb was gone. So you only had 4 shots per cube. So you obviously had to carry a few around if you were taking lots of flash shots. But yeah, fond memories from the 70s these. I'll show you in action, but it's actually, this one is the fitting for a different camera than the M70, so let me just set that up. So here it is fitted onto a Kodak Instamatic, and as you can see it does exactly what it says. You've got, take a shot, the flash went off. This one's obviously fully expired now, I only keep it for sentimental purposes. When you wind on, it spins around to the next one, and you basically then got 4 shots. Once that was done, you would take it off and throw it away. So yeah, not the greatest of technologies, but it's, you know, it served a purpose and it worked quite well. You may notice on this camera there isn't a wind on. This is because one, batteries are fitted. It is a fully automatic, so there's an electric motor that winds the film on. So every shot it'll wind on, When you insert the film, first of all, it will get to the start, and once you're at the end, it's still inside its cartridge, it's all ready to go off to be developed. Then we've got obviously our window for our viewfinder. I'll go into that in a bit more detail because it's actually rather nice for a simple camera. We have another window on the back here, which obviously once film is inserted will show both the film type, manufacturer, etc. that you're using, and also they had a built-in frame counter actually in the film, so when you wound on, the number would change, so obviously the window would allow you to see that. On the side here then we've got a little slider switch which we pop open the back, and as you can see, not too dissimilar to 35mm, so which is why we can use the film with adapters. But the whole cartridge would basically fit in here in one. So once it was wound to the end, it was already in the same package to be sent off. Little notch here for the sprocket holes, and I don't know if you can make it out. I'll try and zoom in when I edit this. But there is a little notch here which would identify to the camera the speed, the ASA of the film that you were inserting. Right round to the front then, we have our viewfinder window obviously, which enables us to actually compose our picture, because this is not an SLR, remember. The lens can't be changed, and obviously you're not looking through it when you take a photograph. This window here provides light. I'll show you in a moment, but basically when you look through the viewfinder, we get a little heads-up display, if you like, of our light readings, and this provides light to that display. So I'll show you that in action shortly. The lens itself, not a bad lens actually for a little sort of point and shoot effectively. It's a 40mm f2.8, which you can probably read there. Focused by way of this lever here, and if I just spin it round, you'll see as I change the lever, the focusing, what's the word I'm looking for, the needle there display actually indicates what focusing you're at. So it ranges from 1.2 meters up to infinity, and at 3 meters or 10 meters there's a little sort of stop that you can feel when you slide it, and that is kind of your optimum focus. You could leave it there and not really have to worry about focusing for the majority of your pictures. If you wanted to obviously take something a bit more specialized, then you could. We have another slider here marked EE or flash. So flash, first of all, when it's over there, obviously then the shoe for the flash is live, and it will adjust with focus to automatically provide the aperture settings. If you slide it to EE, obviously the flash is disengaged, but it still works, and it works out this by way of a selenium PV basically all the way around, a photovoltaic cell, which obviously measures the light, and that's what's going into the display window. But effectively, if you've got that on 10 meters and set to EE, you've only really got to worry about pushing the button. Everything else is done for you by way of this electric eye, which is what EE stands for. This is a shot looking through the viewfinder, so there you'll see the light meter, and that's what that window was providing light for. The last thing we have here is a shutter lock, which when it's flicked over, then the button is locked and obviously prevents you from taking a photograph accidentally. On the bottom then, our standard mount for a tripod and the battery cover. It just takes two AAA batteries. Like I say, the reason I haven't put any in yet is I really want to take this apart first and actually give it a really good overhaul cleaning wise, and just make sure it's all working before I sort of invest in any adapters for films, etc. So there you have it, rather a nice little camera, I'm hoping. Like I say, being gifted it, I've not lost anything if it doesn't work, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it will do. There's quite a few of them available still, and for quite a reasonable price. It's just the film that's a little tricky, as I say. So there you have it, folks. Thank you ever so much again for all the subscriptions. Please keep it up though. 100 was just a short-term target. Next target is 1,000, so I'm sure you can help me do it. Some people have been asking me about purchasing some of my photographs that are on my website. Website link is below here. It's something that never occurred to me before, but yeah, I have no issue with that for obvious reasons. So I've set up a shop using Pickfair. So I'll put a link here, and I'll put it in the description below. Basically, yeah, if you want to actually purchase for download, or if you'd like to license them for commercial use or whatever, there'll be a number of my photos up there to do that. And I'll add more as I go on. So yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. All that remains to be said is thank you again, and see you next time.